My name is Meshack Mbokota. I'm a gynaecologist from South Africa in Pretoria. I needed formal training in a structured manner that deals with aesthetic gynecology. And because I'm in South Africa and bulk of our training is European based, I found it easier to go with ESSEC. I think the techniques for doing vaginal tightening with perineal repair, we've been doing it differently in the past, and the techniques that I've learned here will make it very easier for me because we do have a lot of those cases back home. Basically already started putting up offices, setting up procedure rooms.
Oh yeah, hlangana nakambe. Yeah, hlangana endlela leyiwani madyambu siku ra nakambe ma tiva na hi hina lava nakambe Afrika-Dzonga hi ndlela leyiwani hi taka wena hi karhi hi languta eka siku rin'wana nakambe leri langutaka timhaka ta swa rihanyo. Mina ni DJ Brian hi kumeka kahle vhele ka Facebook ya leyiwani ya DJ Brian Rikhotso a khensa rhandzu tintswalo hinkwaswo leswi mi hi kombaka ku ve na clip yin'wana dokodela leyi ka leswi mi nga swi vula vhiki ri nga hundza leswi swa ti-centimeters hayi xivangile yi endle timhaka namuntlha ni tikume ni ri ka va xavisa timovha ka dealership n'wanyana vhele va karhi va xavisa timovha se un'wana ni kuma a karhi a lava ku te clip liya wa xisati se ni ku ya wena Cindy ku njhani I'm okay ni ku ri ni twa something familiar lexi la ku hatafuleni ra wena ku endleka yini and I'm watching this ivi a yima ni languta ku hi wena musi I go, no, you know, I follow this show. No, go, hi, come on, you can't say that. I go, no, I don't follow this show. No, I go, no, antiba Dr Mbokota, bara client amgina malembe ndzhaku le loko ma rizanini. No, wa khale mus loko wa tiva timhaka ta le zanini ya wa khale ngopfu. Mari kumbexana va swi tivi ku ri muze mi nga va na surgery a zanini. Lexi xi tsundzukaka hi surgery ya n'wina dokodela i ku a ku na receptionist ya wa xinuna. Riperi.
Na sweswi.
Na sweswi?
Na sweswi.
Ni kombela ku swi twisisa. Mi ta pfukile na swi tiva doc kambe ku endleka yini? Why do you prefer having the receptionist ya wa xinuna? Ni tshemba hi leswi mi swi lavisaka xiswona. Loko ku ri ku xi hlamula ka xivutiso xexo doc, why is that?
No, it's preferable because then it's less complicated.
How so?
You see, when you have a clientele, yeah, you will learn over time that women are more, for some reason, are more comfortable with male gynecologists.
Yeah. So
there's a few who would prefer a female gynecologist, but majority are more comfortable with a male gynecologist.
Interest mindset kumbe kova human nature.
Brian, I'll give you an illustration. Maybe I've used this illustration before. Yaku, there's a gentleman who won a lotto.
Yeah.
And his winnings were that he can ask God for anything. So he then spoke to God and said, look, give me a freeway, a road across the sea.
Yeah.
And God said it's impossible to build that one. You can ask for something else because the sea in some areas is very deep. I can't anchor the road.
Okay.
So he then went and said, okay, fine. If that's difficult, then just give me the wisdom to understand the woman. And then God came back and said, how many lanes do you want on the road? So which basically meant God was not even willing to give him the wisdom to understand the woman.
Okay.
So we don't know. But there are various reasons. I think one of the main reasons between us here is that probably they feel much more comfortable with a male because of the compassion. It's the same thing nalentirweni. Some women would prefer a male boss,
Yeah.
because there's some element of understanding or something like that. I mean, I don't know, but that's one of those things that that occur around this world, which it's mysteries that still have to be revealed to all of us to understand over time. Yeah.
Yo. So over time, mi vone n'wina swi mi tirhela having that kind of a setup.
Now it works for me. It makes life easy. There's no issues of who said this, who didn't say that, who looked at me the wrong way, and all of those things.
Oh, yeah. And someone is agreeing with you, Doc Kore. Itoko DC. It is true. We feel comfortable with male gynecologists. Serious. And what about issue raise, Doc? Do you have issue kuba mihleketa ku kuna vanhu lava va preferaku a certain race, kuba mlungu kumbe kuba muntima, vis-a-vis the other one? Why would you still feel the same way? Imakaya kuri munhu loyiwani u prefera mlungu kumbe doctor ya muntima, loko swi va swi endla yini if that exists?
Brian, in mindset.
Yeah.
I was in your favorite country the other day.
Democratic Republic of the Congo or Mozambique?
In Congo. and they said to me, if I want to run a business there and I want it to run properly,
Yeah.
I must make sure that my protocol is white.
Huh? Sure.
So it's what Steve Biko said many years ago. Unfortunately, still works even now. And that mindset, unfortunately, yakarata, it's a mindset that you and I will try to change, but it's not easy. Ita chincha vana va he.
Yo. Yeah. Because look at swilo. I no vona vana va hina ava voni issue race the way I sponsor sona hina, Doc. Ku fana na nkarhi lowu nga hundza. Ntshemba na ku pfumela ku ri na vamakhanani vhele a va ha swi voni, ntshemba tani. Ntshemba na swin'wana swa story loko hi swi hlamusela hi ku ri a ku tshama valungu ntsena ka bench leyiwani va pfa va hleka, ntshemba tani.
Look, I think the poison comes from us as parents. I think if you understand the move, the children of Israel from Egypt to the promised land.
Yeah.
That journey could have taken them 1 year, but it took them 40 years.
Yo.
And in that 40 years, in that 39 or 38 years, what was happening? The generation lay irna slave mentality had to die. Had to die.
In nkarhi 40 years.
Yes, so the two generations that had slave mentality had to die.
Yo.
So that a generation without slave mentality will enter the promised land.
Wow.
So the only person who was in Egypt who entered the promised land, that was Joshua. Even Moses, the one who took them out, was just shown the promised land. He didn't see it. So, and you hear it now. People all keep on going back. So it was better under apartheid. It was better under apartheid. Just go and read Numbers 14. That whole chapter, Numbers 14. The children of Israel themselves said, no, we
Yo.
We were slaves, but it was better. So it's not new. It's nothing new.
What is new ka the health fraternity kufika sweswiwani, Doc? Ini xi nga xintshwa kufika sweswiwani lexi that you can say it has changed over time? I think I've asked you this question, but I believe kuna swilo leswi cincaka ku famba ka nkarhi loko swi ka swi cinca technology karhi yi ndlandlamuka na hinkwaswo leswiyani. Loko ku ri na munhu wo fana na Dr Mbokota loyi va nga va khale va fika va ndla yini manjheni loko technology yi fika yi va tlunya kumbe loko ku ri leswi mi nga swi vulaka is a calling, you'll have to work your way around it?
Well, camera lowu nga na yo sweswi,
Yeah.
the newest, the basis of that camera
The same.
is the science year 2000 or
Yeah.
2000 years ago.
Right.
So whether science comes or not makes no difference. The camera can correct the light for you. It can autofocus. It can do all sorts of things, and then you just click. The only difference, a young person who comes into the industry now will not know how to focus the light manually. So in medicine, the art of making a diagnosis is dying.
Oh.
Because everybody depends on computers.
Ish.
So with artificial intelligence, dokotela will be to administer the treatment. People will come having made the diagnosis.
Mirini sweswi doc. Dokodela wa malembe makume nharhu lama nga hundza na dokodela loyi a nga thwasa vudokodela bya yena say around 7 years ago. Kuna ku hambana?
Yeah, the art of making a diagnosis has changed. The art, one, people rely on laboratory tests and X-rays and ultrasounds and all that to make a diagnosis. Things that we did not have 30 years ago. They were not there, but they were not. They were there, but they were not accessible. So, for example, if a woman struggles with falling pregnant or a couple struggles with having children, in the olden days, there were steps that we used to follow.
Yeah.
Masukulawa, they go in, everybody gets sent to one test or to one place, they have the test, and then they come back with the same result. The answer will end up being the same. The problem is when that person is not in possession of the technology.
Yeah.
Can they make the same diagnosis?
Wow. Doc, kuna xivutiso xexo ni tshama ma xi vona kusuka ka Muxe. Or then, which diagnosis is more reliable, doc?
Look, a computer in the olden days, or when they came in, there was an axiom: yaku garbage in, garbage out.
Okay.
So if the computer gives you an answer based on what you feed it.
Oh yes.
So whether you've got an application like Watson, I think you probably know about Watson by now, from IBM.
Yes.
If you've got an application like Watson in making a diagnosis depends on the algorithms that were programmed. So it's still a human being who has to program.
Doc, say, I hear you. Suvula in leswi doc. Na story, day in day out. Numbuta swivutiso ba yingiseri na vanhu lava ba hi seketelaka ka platform letiwani to hambana va mbuta swivutiso. But then n'wina mi kuma ndlela yo hlamula xivutiso xin'wana na xin'wana. Leswi kumbexana swi chavisaka munhu wo fana na mina, an ordinary guy like me, loyi ni taka na xivutiso swa ku ri, does it mean ku ri all doctors va fana na n'wina va ta tinhlamulo ta swilo hinkwaswo? Or does it mean ku ri as a doctor or a medical practitioner you have to be, let me give you your flowers while you're still alive, I have to be as smart as you are, doc? Or you can be an ordinary person? Because I don't think you are ordinary.
No, medicine is not for smart people. Smart people go and do actuarial science and all sorts of things, and they go astronomy and rock, and then go.
Which you understand.
Yeah, they go and do that. It's not for medicine. It's for hard workers, because it's a repetition. So it's for a hard worker. So the reason why it takes long is because you just have to read volumes. It's not that it needs you to think too much. Right? But when you have what a tertiary institution does to everyone, is to give you the ability to think differently, and to be able to answer.
Okay.
So when you have a person who's seen the door of a tertiary institution and one who hasn't, and a tertiary institution can be a technicon, can be anything outside the high school,
Yeah.
where the teaching is didactic, where they basically just stand in front. But where you are trained to think, to find answers for yourself, you suddenly, your ability to think, you start thinking differently. So it's not there's no special gift for that. Anybody can do that.
Kuna nhlamulo yi kongome ka n'wina leyiwani and a mi ni hlamulangi kahle kahle ka xivutiso leswi ni nga mi vutisa doc. Mi lava ku pfumela kumbe ku kaneta ka leswi swi nga vuriwa hi Nkuna Moses?
No, it's medicine is not for smart people. It's for hard workers.
The second point?
So because which one?
The second point being him saying to you, Kuri, you are what I just said.
No. At most I'm just a hard worker. At most I read.
I think I'm a hard worker too, but I don't think I can be a doctor. Don't you? Okay, I'm familiar doctor.
No. I've taught medical students.
Okay.
I have taught medical students.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, you don't need a smart person to do medicine. You need a hard worker. Of course, you have to have a basic understanding of certain concepts. You have to have, if you can work a camera,
yeah.
If you can fix a car, if you can build an engine, it means you've got the basic sciences to can be able to be inside a medical school.
Yeah.
And uitsema in such a way yaku, you know it and utiba anatomy yo. That person can become a surgeon when they are properly trained.
So, ka ntokota n'wina wa ku dyondzisa medical students, you said. In that group of students, would you tell Kuri, this one, yeah, loy, utaba a very good doctor. This one will be very average. Would you tell with your experience, Kuri?
Yes, you can.
Okay.
You can, because here is the thing. Medicine and being a doctor is like being a detective. Finding a criminal. And in our case, the criminal is the disease.
The disease.
And the system is the same.
Wow.
You know, maporisa ya komamu bangu interview. All right? You come, you say you are sick, we ask you questions.
Yes.
Based on the answers that you give us, we work out what could be wrong with you.
And look, ohemba swinganda swimilahla na n'we. Okanga minyiki the correct answers.
Yeah, but we can ask the same question in 3 different ways. And if you give the wrong answers in all ways, there's always a way of working out whether that answer was genuine or not.
Wow. Oh, so you can read.
Yes, you can read that. But just as much as a detective or maporisa can read when you are not telling them the truth. Because it comes from him understanding a system of how to get to an answer.
A detective will go to an extent of calling for a lie detector test. In your case, in that level, that comparison,
yeah, that's when you do these blood tests and you do X-rays and all sorts of things. By right, ufanu confirm less already suspect. So when you finish examining someone, you say, here are the possible problems.
Yeah.
The first one is more likely, the last one is less likely. Then when you do your tests, you want to exclude or you want to make sure less likely you're moving towards your first one. Of course, you get surprises now and again because we say patients don't read textbooks, but it's a similar method of testing. Just as I said, the criminal here is the disease, Kamaporisa, the criminal, it could be a human being or it could be an animal.
So I yini lexi nga mi tsakisa kusuka ka nkarhi lowu mi nga sungula ku va dokodela over two decades, I believe. I yini lexi mi nga fika mi ku ma vona this development ka mhaka ya timhaka ta swa rihanyo yi antswise xiyimo kumbe maendlelo ya swilo. I hope and believe ku xi kona just one specific thing lexi vonaka onge xi fike xi antswisa matirhelo ya n'wina, swi olovisa swilo kumbexana, kambe ku humelela na ku navela karhi nchumu wun'we doc. Xi nga va xi ri koho kumbe swi hlayini?
Look, obviously there's a number of things, but the most important thing is that in 1989, I think I was doing my 4th year. I invested.
1989, where was I? 89, I was in standard 1. In campus standard 1, this one. Grade.
Grade 3 or so.
Grade 3, yeah.
Aka na Windows 3.1.
Is it
Yes.
Windows 3.1. That was
yes.
Okay, fine. Yeah.
And the computer tirhisa stiffy, the floppy that is stiffy.
U save ntirho dokodela loko fika kun'wana for printer xi nga pfuli, xi can't open.
Yeah. So, but what happened then was that what technology has done in medicine is that, for me, I see it as something that enhances, as long as people do not lose their ability to use their hands. So one of the things that maybe one day we can get it together is to improve training of medical students. Because when we were training, we had the privilege we could sit with a human body and dissect it the whole year.
A real human body?
Yes.
Okay.
Now you can't do that now because of HIV. But there was a small program that I saw in 1989, which you can code and improve on, that can teach students how to understand anatomy, to understand physiology, and basically how to understand how you treat a patient without actually doing it on the real patient. So almost like a virtual classroom. So those kind of things are critical. The second part, now you can have your records, your health record, you can have it in the cloud.
Oh yeah.
So that when you move from here to Cape Town, or from here to India, or from here to Russia, wherever,
you still have the files.
You have the record in the cloud.
Wow.
And the key is either your fingerprint or your iris. And what does it do? It stops this repetitive tests being done, because and it makes sure you receive your treatment much quicker. But also it gives you, as the patient, the power to control what you do with your data. Because in this information age, your biggest currency is data.
Doc,
because
kutsakela kun'wanyana, sorry ku mi nghenelela, na ku tsakela kun'wana na ku teka xivutiso xa muyingiseri layani. Rodney Mabasa wa le Jim Jones u ri 1989 le mihla ya ku mana yena hi loko a va cata hi lembe rero. Kambe ku na this information leyi kumbexani, I know you like from, mi byela vanhu ko tala loko mi nga ri kona loko ni mi hleva ni ku ri that's my father right there. It's one person loyi ni nga vulavulaka na yena ni n'wi byela swiphiqo swa mina a nga ni judge, and it's one person who can actually read my voice, and a swi tiva ku pfa mi swi hlaya mara mi nga vuli nchumu, mara you can tell ku ri how is my life at that moment. But then doc, when a patient move from your practice to Records practice, maybe I say reception, non receptionist, I mean, so swimi khoma njani? what do you do at that moment? Maybe let's not entertain the issue of Kumkomanjan. You are losing a client, yes, but then this person moves from Mbokota, the Dr. Mbokota's practice, to Dr. Records. What is the process there supposed to happen? Me move the file, records or the file. How is the procedure there, Doc? I'm just interested in Jay.
All right, let's start by saying, remember, health is not necessarily the absence of disease.
Yeah.
But it's also physical and mental well-being of a person.
Yeah.
So when a person is not, the minute are unhappy with where they are, it is within their right to go and seek a second opinion elsewhere.
All right.
And there is no doctor who should then not give them the necessary documentation that they need to get the second opinion.
Pause. What is that? Those documentation, doc, that I need from Dr. A to Dr. B?
Whatever the patient needs. If you say, I need my whole file, then go. The ethical principle is that fine. Here's the document we sign. As long as we're giving you the file in your own hands, and then we give it in your own hands, we sign, you've taken it in your own hands, so that look, yala hleka taxi. Everyone akumati makata wende nika file. Unga kuti palushwe dokode.
Subulai. Look, minyika file, I mean, my susama vokweni ya ngwina. Remember, you just spoke about issue of technology,
but you signed for it.
When I signed for it, is it also deleted in the cloud that you just gave an example?
No. Remember, in the cloud, where we are going now with files in the cloud, the file in the cloud is in your control as the patient.
Good.
You will be the one giving me access to your file, not the other way around.
Oh, yes.
Why this is? So there's a program that we're in testing phase now, where hopefully before the end of the year, you then will be able to have all your information in one repository, whether information or anywhere, so that's everything about your health sitting in that one folder.
Yeah.
It's blockchain based, so it's pretty secure. Another Bitcoin blockchain. So the platform is blockchain based, so we've put it on blockchain.
Yeah.
In such a way that's why you control it with your fingerprint or your iris, your eye, so you can, and then you can give permission to any other doctor that you go to for them to access it. In that way, the doctor doesn't get involved because you control the file. You come away. No, you don't do that. Because remember, a patient has a right to seek health care anywhere. Naloku ala kuyalaba health care in a type of health care you've got no right to stop them.
Yeah.
So look,
yeah.
You can't say no.
Yo.
The only thing that you are required to do is to make sure the person has understood the decision they've taken, and then you document it and then farm. But you can't say no.
Kumbe hi karmon seswa. Okay. Seswa nama kumbe naru minute nongo so sungule de vele entera leyo kwa kakuri 26 minutes to 9 o'clock. So logo se sungule minute munenza kakari to. Kaske nge hi yema vengele logo ubuya eteka shibutso lishani shama logo ngar kateki chefu kaske logo ubuya eteka shibutso wena kateki ilako shlamula vela anzaka leswi. Maposh ori inti iso ku loko ususe xivelekelo se ku sala digoji se loko traka ingena yo vela yi hojomela kunene mani twa dokotela ne
na swi la xivelekelo xi nga tshama kona immediately xi susa marumbu ya pfala space lexiya se a ku na ngoji wu salaku se a ku na movha na traka ya munhu yi nga ta hundzumela.
Health Talk, DJ Brian, Dr Mbokota, mataka wana vele rumunde rin'wana kwala eka Facebook ya DJ Brian uri kotsa khetsa nga mi nga na hina badambu lava vele mi nga share na link leyiwani ku ri na van'wana vele va kota ku dyondza hi ndlela yaleyo. Doc, xivutiso lexani xi olove ngopfu xa ka teki chefu loko hi nga siya nwa mati vele karhi ku ta xi vuya hi xivutiso hi ndlela leyiwani. Do you think ku ri mhaka ya age has an influence loko munhu a lava ku va dokodela ke? Does it matter? I'm 40, what? How old am I? 42? Yes. Can I still qualify to be a doctor? Doc?
No, you can apply and go to university. There's no, I mean, we've seen, I mean, I've had classmates who were twice my age when I was at medical school.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's got, remember especially blah, blah, we as human beings, we are hardly using 10% of the capacity of our brain.
But then, Doc, what are we overwork? We can have stress and we have strokes and all those things. Which one is what now?
When you
Overwork yourself, overuse your brain. Kuna stanzako.
People must remain slaves. Because this nonsense a person must sleep for 8 hours a day and whatever. Calculate 8 hours, 50 years.
Yo. It's like and half your life was.
Go and ask Elon Musk how many hours he sleeps.
Ish.
So it looks like it's only applicable to those of us who are poor. But the thing is that we haven't used the full capacity of our brain.
Yeah.
And the day we start using the full capacity, remember what limits us is what is around us.
Good.
So loko ukula ungaboni anything different. And that goes to a next question yaku banana bantsongo loko ba bantsongo ba la ku ba madokodela and then loko bakula ba chincha. It has to do with exposure. Medicine is not, because they probably think there's a lot of money. But as they become exposed to things, then they realize, no, there's no money, and actually that's not what I want to do. Because as you expose them to many things, suddenly their horizons, their minds open up, and they think of things that you and I have never thought of. That's why, Baku, in 10 years' time, the jobs that we have now will not exist. You'll have completely new jobs. I mean, if Elon Musk na Bezos are competing about who's gonna get to Mars first, the competition is at a different level.
And
yes, it's at a different level. I mean, if you think about it, when they send one of Elon Musk's spaceships, when it goes to space, especially the one that travels, she is a Shilo without pilots, without astronauts inside. It's controlled from here.
Wow.
The space station is sitting about 500-600 kilometers above sea level. And you're able then to control this thing from here for it to go to the space station. That space station is rotating at close to 28,000 kilometers per hour.
Wow.
Right?
Yeah.
And it docks at that speed and then offloads and docks and comes back on its own.
Yo.
So if that happens, so what makes it difficult for you to have a car that drives itself? If you can do that. So we haven't seen it. I mean, the Chinese were denied entry into the International Space Station. So what did they do? Did they cry? No. They went and built their own.
Wow.
Yeah, they went and built their own.
Let's take the next question of the same list viewer. Loyi anga Rodney wale Jim Jones akur utlhela ka mhaka leyi ya ma-document ya ku ri na loko se a kume ma-document lamayani vele, what's the procedure there of ku ri loko a fane a kuma maphepha lama kume document leyi from the doctor that he or she is moving from, ku na mali leyi hakeriwaka kumbe you give me my documents then I move to Dr. Court, so swela kwala?
The health information belongs to you.
Oh.
The paper may belong to the doctor. You may have to pay for the photocopy. But the information belongs to you. The modality of getting the information is that's what he's asking. But he can't sell you information now, because remember, when you pay a doctor for a consultation, you are paying for his intellectual property ya ku kota ku endla diagnosis and right treatment. So you've paid for that when you paid for a consultation.
Oh.
You may not have paid for the paper and the storage and everything else. So if he gives you the file as it is, he may just say, well, here are your photocopies. 20 rand, pay me 20 rands for the photocopies. He's not selling the information. He's making you pay just as much as when you apply for a PIA.
Yeah.
I know you know what's a PIA.
What's the PIA?
There's a Promotion of Access to Information Act. So you want information, you compel a particular department to give information. They will say, no, the information is here, but please pay for the photocopies.
An accident, the accident report, they will say, pay the 60 rand or the 60 cents, in fact. I think
for the photocopies.
For the photocopies,
Yes. So they are not selling the information. They are selling the material where the information is sitting.
Because the information, the accident report is actually yours.
Yes.
Toko DC yellow doc. Doctor, does the doctor have the right to ask a patient to bring along a spouse or next of kin to be witnesses in case of handing over the file, or banganyika file liane without any next of kin or any witness?
The important thing, the person, remember the file belongs
to you,
to the patient.
Yeah.
It doesn't belong, meaning the information in the file belongs to the patient.
Yeah.
So the person who signs for the information, no, I've received this file. You were win information. Whether utana a witness or not, it's immaterial.
Doc, marashi isaka magali ya kuru loko nifane endla vuhandzuri na operation. Kambe mide the importance of the next of kin or my spouse to be next or to sign thereof imakaini so ambana queen in this instance.
No, remember your health information. Yawe awubaba.
Yeah.
It doesn't belong to your wife, it doesn't belong to your sister, it doesn't belong to anybody else.
Yeah.
It's your own confidential information.
Good.
So as a doctor, I cannot hand it over to somebody else. I can only give it to you.
Good.
And therefore, there's no need for anybody else to be there unless there's so much animosity that you need witnesses to be there.
Yeah, in that case.
But the information will not be given to a third party.
Okay.
Because the minute, remember what governs my ethics, the information that you've told me, I have to keep it confidential between you and me.
Good.
Even your spouse, I will not tell.
Yo. Doc, then what happens if nilava information ya my spouse kangwina meridokodela when my partner has passed on? What needs to happen?
Then at that time, imani suddenly angana the right to the estate.
Oh, okay.
So abakuna right to look after the estate, or abakuna right to look after information yamono loy anga, then that's the one who's gonna get the information.
Wow. Yo. Talking about man and sleepless nights, how do you justify working longer hours to your kids when they feel you are missing at home?
No. It's not that.
Yeah.
You see, again, this is the other myth that gets peddled around.
Yeah.
That gets peddled around. Working hard doesn't mean working long hours.
Please say that again, Doc.
Working hard
Yeah.
doesn't mean working long hours. It doesn't mean that you ignore everybody else. Working hard means when you sit down, I'm doing this work. You sit down and do that work and do not be distracted. Right? You can do a lot of things in 8 hours when people are spending the 8 hours barintirweni, 60% of that
Baraga solitaire.
So working hard doesn't mean you deny your children access to you and no, it's not that. It's how you plan and how effectively work. Because, for example, studying is an art. You can study to know certain things, and you can study to pass an exam.
Okay.
And so you do it differently, both things, you know. So no, you are able to make time, and you are able, because there's a lot of useless things that you do that you shouldn't be, that you should be spending that time with your children. There's a lot of things that you do.
After 2 decades, Doc, minga yima mahleka vanhu mokuri ya n'wina vana mi nga laniwani ni kombela leswaku ri mi va madokodela. After your experiences, the ups and downs, na hinkwaswo leswi, would you still boldly stand in front of vana lava va tsakelaka madokodela ku va ku ri va ya mahlweni va endla this practice?
Brian, there's no need to do that.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you why there's no need. Everyone is born with a purpose. And everyone knows what their purpose is. And every profession, I'll repeat, is a calling. And for the child whose calling is to be a doctor or a nurse or a pharmacist, it doesn't matter what you say to them, they will do it. Just as much as you had set your side that you are going to be on radio. Regardless of what happens, the hurdles can come. Actually, you can go on radio, because that's your passion. And that's your passion. So if you do what you love, so you don't need anybody to motivate you. Because that's something that's in you. It's inborn. Your character is like that. For example, if you can't interact naban, you can't go and do medicine. Because then you are going to be frustrated by people. Don't go and do medicine. Just go and work with machines. Things that do not talk back to you. Because otherwise you won't succeed.
Ni twisisa mhaka ku nkarhi wun'wanyani swi fa swi tika swilo le ntirhweni, Doc. Mi vuya kaya mi ku hey mana makhanani namuntlha ha to vuya mani wa tiva mi avelana vuxokoxoko byo fika kwini with your partner, your wife in this case, leswi fambelanaka na ntirho wa n'wina, or you don't tell at all ku ya hi leswi mi vulavulaka hi timhaka ethics namuntlha mi vulavule rito ra ethics ka hi 4 a ni karhi ni count swa tirha na le kaya.
Every profession has got its ethics.
Yeah.
And the ethics are tihlawuli. There are ethics everywhere. So for example, a judge who is listening to a matter at court, they will not go home and discuss that matter with their spouse.
Wow. Yeah. True.
Yes. A lawyer who's representing somebody will not go and discuss that matter with their spouse. An accountant who's auditing somewhere will not go and discuss what they found with their spouse. And so is the same with medicine. Remember, ethics is not law.
Good.
Ethics is not law. It's something that is within you in that profession. And if you are meant to be in that profession, it becomes easy to live with it.
And mere ethics like one dog.
Yeah.
Naluya angena kumgodini ku hayi wativa namuntlha yo hlangana na ribye rin'wana a nga fanelangi ku faka a vula ku ri ya ntlumbe golidi yin'wana leyi hansi leni yo a yi ringani na nchumu a nga fanelangi ku za a avela na vuxokoxoko byebyi na munhu
I don't know the ethics tale mayini. There are probably there are ethics in journalism. There are ethics where you work.
I don't share my sources, Doc. I don't share anything. Loko munhu hambi no byela hi n'wina hambi no byela hi Dr Mbokota ku ri ni kume lexi na lexi a ni fanelanga ku byela ku ri vuxokoxoko lebyiwani ni byi kuma kwini i mani source ya kona hi leswi va rhangaka va ku dyondzisa vhele ka journalism 101.
So the issue iyaleyo because you are in the profession which is your purpose that you've been created for. The ethics in that profession become easy for you to deal with. So look, we are a mistake or we are absent because akuhoriwa ka hari xikolweni, then the problem is that you are misplaced, and therefore you will not be able to deal with the ethics of that profession.
Wow. Merlik chara bud mavonyo ri ya namuntlha mizikile Doc. We learn every day ka nongonoko lowani and hi dyondza swilo swo hambana. Kuna matanato n'wayila or Doc mi hi khomele swihundla swo tala or mi hi khomele swihundla swo tala. Ethics a yi pfumeli mi swi humesa kumbe mi swi hundzisa doing what is right or wrong. But then when you discover a new technology and the share dokotela mugo hey mana makana hey kuna dichini din'wana ledi hey di tirha swin'wanyana ma share dokotela leswi.
No. Look, a new way of doing things.
Yeah. It's not talking about a person.
You are not talking about a person.
Good.
A new way of doing things, you're not talking about a person. So that's completely different. Like now, since kuna COVID, a court kuna virtual court masukula. It's nothing new, but the matters that are there, they don't go beyond that.
Wow. Dokotela bara mhlamulinyana. Sipho Tuboy Ubisi. What a good answer to that one, doctor. When it comes to choosing careers, thanks for the question. At least, thanks for the question. But then, what else can we learn? He say na 48 minutes here na ba ingiseri ka madam Blamon fele. He mina se vuto simbira sonar kumbexani ingasteka. Namuntlha hetelele bla mhaka ya swo hambana bla ethics bla mhaka ya hetelele bla swin'wana leswi a swi nga ka ku ya mara gwina dokotela mara gwina. Ai wativa mara loko ku la ku fana na n'wena. Mi nga hedo decide vele madam basa ka matata. Ngopfu ka the profession le mi nga ka yona e kongoma.
Look, the one thing that we should discuss, in infertility or absence yaku a couple baba childless. It's not something that's new.
Okay.
The Bible describes about 7 women who suffered from infertility. Out of those 7, only 1 did not have children. And they don't. And the Bible doesn't say why she didn't have children. We can make a deduction of why. And this is a lady by the name of Michal. And most people would probably not know her. The first wife was David. You remember, look, David ku hlula Goliath. The father, the king offered him a wife.
As a gift.
As a gift.
For a lack of a better word, yeah.
But he then offered him his firstborn daughter. But David refused and said no, he doesn't feel that he has done enough to deserve the firstborn daughter of the king. Then, as he continued to serve the king, he fell in love with the younger sister. And that younger sister is Michal. And they got married and they never had children. There's a lot of stories as to why she didn't have children. One of them was because she was a daughter of Saul, and Saul was of the tribe of Benjamin. He was not of the tribe of Judah, and so on and so on. There's also a story who maybe is because when David rejoiced because the ark had come back home, she rebuked him, and so so probably they feel maybe that's why she never had children. But she's the same one who protected him when her father wanted to kill him. Several times. So she didn't have children, and the Bible doesn't tell us why. But the other 6 ended up with children.
Wow.
4 of them, they had their children before they reached menopause. The other 2 had their children after the menopause. So the one is Sarah, the matriarch Sarah, who's the mother of Isaac, the wife to Abraham. And then the other one is a lady who is the mother to John the Baptist, Elizabeth. She fell pregnant in her menopause.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, okay.
In her menopause.
While you've reached menopause,
well, I think the illustration here, the illustration here, nature has got its own laws, and menopause is one of those laws. But the one who created nature can be above the laws, right? Because the same thing, nature has got time, but the one who created nature and time is outside the time. So his times and our time think fun. So if you take the ladies who had their children after the menopause, those were children of promise. Right? Those were children of promise. So I just spoke about Elizabeth, the mother of John the Baptist, who happens to be the cousin to Jesus Christ, because Elizabeth and Maria were sisters. Right. Right. Then so it's those 2 who get. But let's look at the 4 who had children bangasfika menopause. Those 4 had children bangasfika menopause, and there's one common thing amongst them. And that one common thing is that it is their husbands who prayed, meaning that their husbands were not mocking them.
Oh.
Meaning that their husbands were supportive. Meaning that the husbands did not side with the families that were mocking them. And that's why those women were then at the appropriate time were able to fall pregnant. Whether it's Rebecca, the wife of Isaac, whether it's Rachel, the wife of what Jacob, or whether it's Manoa Samson, whose name is not mentioned, and whether it's Hannah, the wife of Elkanah.
Yeah.
So what does it mean? It means kulokurna a difficulty ya kumangwana in the family. The most important ingredient in that thing, it's the man supporting the wife and the man helping being with the wife to find the solution, rather than the man being the mocking one.
Or moving elsewhere.
Well, he moves elsewhere because he's been mocking, which means he didn't marry a wife, he wanted to marry a baby-making machine.
Doc, can we help Nkuna? It sounds like what is menopause. The second ngani.
Yeah.
No. Menopause
Right. Women go through stages, and the stage before Bakumabana, we call it puberty, and then menarche, and then they get into a childbearing age. Towards the end of the childbearing age, when the childbearing age ends, meaning when the periods of menstruation ends, they get into the menopause. The periods stop. And they stop because they no longer have eggs. That's menopause. So when a woman falls pregnant in the menopause, that's supernatural. Because nature says when you're in the menopause, you can't fall pregnant.
Okay. Okay, Doc. Glory to God.
I hope that explains.
I think it did. It did help.
Yeah.
Glory to God for giving birth after menopause. God is good always. And thank you, Doctor. We learn every day. In case of na ambika makaya shimule shwanisha load shedding in the lewane mbana ina madambu mangwana kwala kana kukomaka shivanda le shwan vele washile bjwan logo say hambana ya bikongomisa le eka YouTube mabikuma kona vele nakwala ka Facebook itabisika kwala mingatla futhi mabitibona nzaka nkari logo kumbishana logo load shedding yimitwele busiwana indlela leyo kambe hakhensa kuma mina ina madam lawane Dr Mbokota mbakuma kahle eka bushokashoko lebyi nga la ka screen xa wena sweswi kumbe channel loko nga sivonanga i 010 020 8569 nomboro lena kambe Dr Mbokota i 010 020 8569 kumbe nga varmela email ka info@hwcw.co.za sivula ku ri vhele kunene na website ya vona vhele yi ta ku www.hwcw.co.za ka Instagram ba kona vele kwala tani Dr Meshack Mbokota kumbe mga kumaka @hwcw_SA indlela lantisa maka swa ku vele mbamitiso ku kuba kuna _SA silent mabasa ora cancer dokotela indlela leyo bichoko bya sukira na muta vele akuri no cancer DJ na Dr Mbokota ku tiseriwa nongonoko wa ku dyondzisa swinene ngopfu indlela lewani cancer Dr Mbokota hi kurisisa na vutivi bya vona lebyi nga na byona hi dyondzile inkomo swinene ngopfu na hina hi ri pulatani hi ri Muntu Brigade dokotela hi teka xiboho xa kusukela mutafele hi va nyika vuhaxi lebyani va yingiseri lavawani hambileswi hina mina na n'wina hi le ka load shedding sweswo kumbe n'we ya n'we right manjini ya so hi va haxele ya yi hele 8 ya mina hi ko yi hela sweswi 9 kambe hi tisisi mhaka swa ku ri hi ringeta sweswi hi nga ta ringeta swona ka swa ku hi va nyika vuhaxi lebyana swi ta ku vo tala ku vhela va khumbekini eka timhakeni ta ku va khumbeka hi mhaka ya load shedding hi yo mhaka hi teka vuhaxi lebyani hi byi yisa ka swivandla swin'wanyana ku ri va kota ku swi vona va nga rivali nakambe ka swa ku ri va subscribe eka channel leyi ya DJ Brian channel laha vhele va kumaka vuxokoxoko byo hambanahambana kwalani ka byona swi tele ngopfu mi nga swi kumaka lani hambi ti-episode hinkwato leti loko ho hlaya ti paka futhi siku na siku dokotela ti nga ta ti heta lembe leri hinkwato ka ti tlanga vhiki na vhiki va tlhela hi va komba leswi hi nga va endlela swona minkarhi leyi nga hundza siku na siku hi ta laniwani hi tlhela futhi hi tiyimisela swa ku hakunene hi cinca vutomi bya vanhu hi ndlela leyo loko mi lava ku kuma vuxokoxoko ka Dr Mbokota va kumeni hi ndlela yaleyo dokotela vhiki ri taka ni kumbe hi teka nhlokomhaka leyi hi nga vulavula yona vhiki ri nga hundza liya a hi te hi ta yi languta ni riveleko ra ku ri ya yini mara u nga ku ti-cyst kumbe a ku ri swin'wana swo fambela na mhaka ya ti-cyst leswi hi nga swi khumbaka nkarhi lowu nga hundza kambe a ku ri na vanhu vo tala lava a va lava ku swa ku va tiva ngopfu hi mhaka ya ti-cyst se ni twa onge ni tiva timhaka letiwa ta vutshunguri bya n'wina dokodela ku antswa masiku lamawani and swi endla ku ri ni languta na vanhu va xisati ku hambana na ku va hlonipha hi ndlela yin'wana yo hlamarisa swinene ngopfu ku tlula ku sunguleni hi ndlela leyi mi hi hlamuselaka vuxokoxoko na leswi kumbexana va hlanganaka na swona siku na siku kambe ha khensa a hi mhaka ku ti endlisa leswiwani mhaka vuxokoxoko lebyi mi nyika byona madyambu man'wana na man'wana awara hinkwayo dokodela mi yi veka tlhelo mi yi vekela hina hi ndlela leyiwani a hi mhaka yintsongo yeleyo ni khensile mativa dokodela a hi hlangana ni vhiki ri taka.
No, inkomu Brian, you see, it's easy to learn medicine. You don't need to go to So I think maybe next week what we'll do is that we'll touch on the ovarian cysts and then maybe go into the natural part, your infertility.
Oh yeah. Dr Mbokota hi vona vele a ri na vona ka madyambu lawa ro hetelela vuxokoxoko bya vona hi lebyi la tlhela ka wena mingiseri dokodela inkomu swinene.
Inkomu.
Muito obrigado hi uma ndlela leyi Maphosh u ri i ntiyiso ku ri loko u suse xivelekelo se ku sala digoji se loko thraka yi nghena yo vhela yi hojomela kunene mani ni twa dokodela ni ri
na swi la xivelekelo xi nga tshama kona immediately hi xi susa marhumbu ya pfala space lexiya se a ku na ngoji wu salaku se a ku na movha na traka ya munhu yi nga ta hojomela.